Well, if there's one thing I can say, it's that Wargaming's fairly consistent when it comes to me releasing a video talking about something that we don't have too much information on, that's kind of just either slipped out or in the whispers or whatever, and then Wargaming turns around and releases the dev blog the next day. But I guess, hey, that's pretty good. So sure enough, after releasing yesterday's video where we talked about the upcoming event and game that celebrates the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy, Wargaming releases a dev blog on it today, Wednesday, right? So we have more information about the Liberty Harbor event and also the next Dockyard ship, which is not what I thought it was going to be, and I don't think very many people saw this coming, but we got information on those two events and a little bit more. So let's go ahead and get on into it. If you wish to read along as I read aloud, link to this dev blog is down below. I will be throwing up any relevant images, artwork, or graphs, but if you want to check out the dev blog for yourself, which I would highly encourage you to do so, link to it is down below. While you are down there, why don't you go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel before you click off of the video. It helps out so much so on the YouTube side of things, especially if you enjoy these Warships news videos, as I do try to get these out usually the day after the dev blog or whatever information about whatever event's going on in game is released. But anyway, the dev blog is titled Close Test 14.9 Liberty Harbor.
I am Liberty Prime. I am America.
Lüshun B Dockyard, and more. Hello captains, and welcome to this new development blog post. Today we'll be covering what you can expect to see in Update 14.9. Liberty Harbor. In Update 14.9, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy. To mark this historic milestone, we have put together a new event, where through your efforts and those of your fleet, you can construct the naval base Liberty Harbor. Along the way, you will learn about some key points of the USN's 250-year history. You will see these key points throughout the eyes of a U.S. naval officer, reliving his childhood memories and recalling lessons and wisdom learned from his father. Building Liberty Harbor. The base is made up of several upgradable areas, each with its own purpose. To construct Liberty Harbor, you need to earn naval base supplies via combat missions and expeditions, which we will discuss in more detail below. This way, you'll be able to build the whole base by just playing the game. Alternatively, there will be an option to purchase area upgrades for doubloons. Okay, so far, I do like that it is, you can earn it just by playing, or you can cash in some doubloons. Of course, that's going to depend upon how difficult these missions are, but let's go ahead and check out that. There will be 4 areas to build in Liberty Harbor. Naval Command grants access to a selection of combat missions that can be completed in random and ranked, as well as brawls. Operational Command grants access to a selection of combat missions that can be completed in operations, co-op battles, and temporary battle types. The number of combat missions you can take simultaneously in the Naval Command and the Operation Command area is limited and depends on the level of the area. Military Port lets you dispatch your ships to expeditions. Fuel Terminal lets you boost other areas. This allows you to take on additional missions in those areas. Okay, so first off, looks like it's not going to be quite as simple as the GQ Johnny and the anniversary missions where it's just, go into a battle, play one battle. Congrats, you're done. Looks like you will have to specifically go after missions in random, ranked, brawls, co-op, and operations. They might get to it here, but I would like clarification on whether or not, like, the missions you can do with the Naval Command Center, do they have to be done in random, ranked, and brawls, or can you just go to random, ranked, or brawls? Like, you can, pick one mode and do those missions in those modes. Like, there's not 3 missions you got to do in randoms, 3 missions you got to do in ranked, and 3 missions you got to do in brawls. I'd like more clarification on that. Obviously, same for Operational Command. Now, if it's just you have these 3 missions, you have to do in either ranked, randoms, or brawls, you can do all 3 in any mode. That's fine. Same with operations, co-op, and temporary battle types, especially with asymmetrics coming back around the corner. Okay, so let's see if they mention that down below. Expeditions will allow you to make use of the ships you have in your port. You can send these ships out on missions to gather additional naval base supplies to help in your progress. Each expedition will have specific requirements regarding fleet power, tiers, ship types, and nations, and you'll need to assemble a fleet from your available ships that meets those requirements. Fleet power is a sum total of tiers of all ships assigned to an expedition. To complete each expedition, you'll need to assemble a fleet of sufficient power. Ships assigned to an expedition become temporarily unavailable for new expeditions until the current one ends, but you can still use them in battles. It's possible to launch one or several expeditions at a time. The specific amount is determined by the level of the military port. You can send each expedition for either 1 day or 3 days. The first one is better for those who play daily. A 3-day expedition requires less fleet power and gives you more total rewards but fewer per day. Once you launch an expedition, it becomes locked in for a set number of days. You cannot cancel it. You will get naval base supplies for an expedition immediately after you launch it. So, I do like the way that this sounds. Especially, this is going on the 10th anniversary. A lot of players that play this game are veteran players, so we have pretty large fleets. I would like to know, is it like just American ships because it's, the U.S. Navy's anniversary? Or is it whatever I have in my port? So this sounds kind of like the little mini game that was in Black Flag, where you could capture ships and then put them into Kenway's fleet. That's what it was called. And then you could send them on missions and such. It sounds like that. So it sounds like a pretty interesting mini game, perhaps. So on one side, it sounds cool for that because you're kind of using your ships in your fleet, even if you don't use them. Like, say you have some carriers and submarines and stuff that you normally don't play, you can use them for this. That sounds neat. And it does not affect their playability. Like, if you send your Iowa on an expedition, it's still available to play in-game. It's just in an expedition, right? So that sounds pretty cool from that side of things. But then, of course, you have the players with smaller fleets. Obviously, depending upon how stacked these are to the fleet power, do we have a bunch of missions that you need a bunch of tier 10 ships to do? Well, what happens to Jim Bob that doesn't have a bunch of tier 10 ships, right? So that's something I'd like to see, an example of these missions, right? To see how much this is going to skew toward players with a bunch of, higher tier ships and such. So I'd like to see more on that. Okay, building each area from scratch will require 13 upgrades, which need to be built sequentially. There will be 2 types of upgrade.
Upgrades, people! Upgrades!
Upgrades. Levels. Improves the area's visuals and functionality. For example, it can let you take on more combat missions or assemble more expeditions and widen their selection. Grant points to the progress throughout the event. There will be 3 levels for each area, and the initial construction counts as the first one. Intermediate stages slightly increases the area's profitability. Grant 1 element of a new thematic collection. There will be 10 intermediate stages for each area, 5 between the first and second levels, another 5 between the second and third levels. Note that at the beginning of the event, you will get a limited amount of naval base supplies, enough to build the first level of one area. While building Liberty Harbor, you can choose which order to construct and upgrade its areas. That will allow you to focus on the battle types you enjoy the most. Combined with the income from expeditions, focusing on missions from just one area will allow you to get enough resources to build the entire base. Oh, okay, so you can focus on one mission from just one area, and you will get enough resources to build the whole base. Okay, cool. So, like, if you want to focus on operations, you can do that. If you want to focus on random battles, you can do that. Okay, that's cool. I like that. That kind of handles the question that I had beforehand. And this is what it's going to look like. Looks pretty cool. I like the aesthetics of it. Like they said, this is, you're playing essentially with a toy port, So I like this. It looks pretty neat. I used to build model trains and such back in the day. I mean, I'd still do model ships every now and then. So this is pretty neat. All right. And do keep in mind, too, you don't need the military port to... Well, let's see what they have to say before I mention that anymore. Progress bar and rewards. As the base is constructed, you will unlock segments of the event progress bar and piece together the United States Navy history from tidbits learned throughout the event's protagonist's father, as well as various rewards. The progress bar and memories will be displayed via a separate page. Photo album. Among the rewards, you will find various thematic items. The Navy 250th anniversary flag, U.S. Commander John Barry, blue, gold, and white permanent camouflage, battle line of the Pacific permanent camo for Tier 10 American battleship Montana, created earlier this year by our player Allies USA. Well, that's cool that he got his camo in there. Very nice. And yeah, I do like the blue, gold, and white camo too. Looks very, very snazzy. Alright, the reward for completely finishing the base will be new epic Tier 8 American Premium Cruiser Bridgeport, which through effort and dedication you can get for free. Finally, there is also a new collection dedicated to the 250 years of the United States Navy. The Liberty Harbor collection consists of 60 elements, 41 of which you can earn as you construct the base, while the remaining pieces can be exchanged for progress points after you've built the base. Completing the collection awards you Seasoned U.S. Commander David Farragut and an achievement. And there's the Bridgeport, as we discussed yesterday, and there's the commander and the neat little postcard-looking thing. You'll be able to complete Liberty Harbor throughout combat missions and expeditions starting in the second week of Update 14.9 and running to the end of 14.10. During the first week of 14.11, you would still be able to finish building the base using either unspent naval base supplies or doubloons. Also, in celebration of the United States Navy's birthday, we prepared the following content. Navy 250 port decorated in honor of the USN anniversary. This is cool. That's cool. Like all the boats everywhere. Okay. Navy 250 permanent camouflage for Indiana. Well, we know when Indiana's coming out now. October. Ooh, that looks cool. I like that. I like the wings on the side. Ooh, I might actually buy this and actually use it on my Indiana. I like that. I normally don't like these thematic camos, but this one's pretty hot. Liberty Harbor container and Navy 250 premium container. Go figure. Is that a bunch of model ships? Oh, it is, because that's the theme of the port. That's cool. Okay. That's pretty neat. New Epic Tier 9 American Premium Battleship Indiana will also be available in a thematic consecutive bundle. No! Oh, wait. Consecutive bundle. Yeah, no, consecutive bundle. Is that... Did they change the name of the sequential bundle? Interesting. We'll see what that means. As well as an Admiral bundle for real money. Man. Of course. It's a tier 9, so it's going to cost a gazillion dollars, but, well, shout out to the Patreons for October in advance. Alright, so going back to the Bridgeport. So you do have to finish the port in order to get, the harbor in order to get the Bridgeport. So, Now, like they said, you can get the supplies needed for Liberty Harbor in combat missions. And you, by building the port, can earn extra naval supplies. So, I'd like to think that you could potentially finish it by just playing the combat missions, which naturally by playing the combat missions, you'll be building up your port and be able to earn a little bit extra on the side. So, I would imagine if you're fairly dedicated, it wouldn't be too bad to get. But of course, in the dev blog, they don't go into detail about what exactly the combat missions are or how difficult they are. We don't have any examples of the combat missions in the Dockyard. We do know that you do have to completely complete the the harbor in order to get the Bridgeport. That's really what we know. But we do know that you can earn supplies from the port now, and unfortunately they do have they blur pretty much everything else out besides just the general HUD and such, so we can't really see. They don't have any. I'm just going back looking through the screenshots. They don't have any of the missions on display, so we don't really know how difficult the missions will be. So we still don't know how hard of a task it's going to be, but we do know you have 14.9 and 14.10 to do it in the first, week of 14.11? Yeah, the first week of 14.11 to complete it for doubloons. So, you have the second week. So you have 9 weeks. 9 weeks to get the Bridgeport through this event, which, again, that could be plenty of time. That could be kind of tight. We don't know because we don't know what the missions look like yet. But again, it's a Tier 8 premium ship. I would definitely give it a shot, and there's a very good chance that you're going to complete a good amount of the missions anyway by just playing the game, because many of you, like myself, are playing the game a lot right now to get the doubloons, the steel, the GQ Johnny, and all that jazz, right? So there's a very good chance you'll be able to earn probably most of what you need for this ship by just doing what you're already doing. And then I would say, you take a look in 14.11 if you haven't gotten it yet. And if you're like a handful of doubloons away from finishing it, you do have the doubloons you're earning from the anniversary event. So, like, if you can get a Tier 8 premium ship for, what is essentially $10 worth of doubloons that you got for free, that's not a bad deal, right? So, there we go. But yeah, I will be going after the Bridgeports. Probably won't be able to purchase it right away, but I will be earning it, and then I'll let you guys know what I think about it whenever I do acquire it. All right, so that's the Liberty Harbor event. Got a little bit more detail on it. Got to feast our eyes on the visuals for it and such. But yeah, again, at the end of the day, free ship is free ship. So moving on to the Lüshun Dockyard. All right.
Somehow
Lüshun.
return.
Lüshun's coming back, don't you know? Lüshun B to be example. So I'm guessing, November Dockyard. Update 14.9, well, October, we're going into November. Update 14.9 brings a new dockyard that lets you build Tier 10 Pan-Asian destroyer Lüshun B. This is just the start of what you can expect as part of Black Friday events. Oh, there you go. Lüshun B is a stealthy predator capable of dealing high damage per minute with her AP shells and additionally armed with deep-water torpedoes. She also boasts good... Yeah, she's pretty good. Okay, Dockyard. 35 phases with various rewards. 30 phases can be completed through dedicated combat missions. Another 5 phases will have to be purchased with doubloons, either individually or as part of starter pack. Each phase can be purchased for 1,350 doubloons. There will be a starter packs of 5 and 10 phases available for 5,000 and 9,000 doubloons respectively. These are only available until you complete 10 phases with combat missions. The Dockyard will be available throughout updates 14.9 and most of 14.10 and will conclude 2 days before the release of update 14.11. Okay, so Lüshun B, if you missed out on the Lüshun, not a bad opportunity to pick up the Lüshun B. Again, I like the Lüshun pretty dang good. It's got those heavy repair teams and such. It's got that nice Soviet AP as well. So this is exactly the same as Lüshun, except with a really nice black camo. It's got that, what type of steel is that? Is that Damascus steel, that effect going on there with the Black Friday camo? Yeah, that's pretty hot. Obviously, if you have the Lüshun, no real need to get the Lüshun B unless you want the fancy camo, but yeah, okay. So that's pretty cool, they're bringing it back. It always sucks when, you have people that unfortunately miss a dockyard because of work or whatever, and that they're kind of boned. So I do like to see them, toss us, a couple of repeats every now and then. I know some people probably think it's lazy and such, but like, hey, look, there are people that, they are away from their computer for a month or so because of work, and it sucks that they miss these ships. So anytime they can come back, I think that's perfectly fine. All right. So we're getting an update to the battle chat, which is nice. I like to see them slowly, piece by piece, updating the UI. So this was definitely, something that was much needed. All right. There will be several upgrades to the battle chat that are designed to bring quality of life improvements and let you customize it for yourselves. It is now possible to configure with whom you want to communicate in the chat. To change the settings, you need to click on the menu near it. Note the following changes only affect text messages, so you still will be able to receive and send quick commands to everyone. You have an all players channel with only teammates, only with your division, and a block all option. Okay. Additionally, it will be possible to customize how players are displayed in the chat. Player and ship names, player name only, ship name only. That's really good. That should have been done so long ago. You know how many times someone's asked for like help in chat, and then my eyes immediately dart over to the mini-map because naturally that's what you should be looking at. That's what I do look at, and every few seconds they have to go, oh wait a second, what ship is this guy in? Smack tab. You got to pull up the leaderboards, search through the leaderboard, find the guy's name, and then find out where he's at on the mini-map. So that's excellent now that you can do player and ship names. So very good, very good, very good, very good, very good there. All right. Campaigns update. With update 14.9, we will bring improvements to the campaign system. You'll be able to complete some campaign missions and more battle types. Certain missions will be completable in brawls and operations. And we're also expanding the list of missions that can be completed in co-op battles. Access to the third mission slot, previously requiring a premium account, will now be available for all accounts. That's good. Reduce the number of stars needed to reach the key missions and parts of campaigns that were deemed more complicated than others. Reduce the requirement of certain missions that were deemed difficult. These changes are aimed at overall faster completion of campaigns while adding quality of life improvements at the same time. that's excellent. That's all pretty good. You know, the removal of the requirement for having premium to get access to the third slot, that's excellent. You know, just like when they got rid of premium consumables. You know, anytime you get rid of anything, you know, that gives free-to-play players a disadvantage if they're not actively using premium, that's pretty good. All right. So next big thing is that the Piñata battles are coming back. It looks like we are getting some more ships to play and the mode because, well, yeah, take a look. 4 new ships based on existing models have been added for testing. Piñatatopolis, based on the Essex. Von Zerkerhoff, based on the Schlieffen. Sussenhof, it's not Sussenhof. Sushofen, based on Manfred von Richthofen. I'm going to say it's Sussenhof from now on. Piñatian, based on Arian. Yeah, Piñata had with some good fun. I'm glad that it's coming back. You know, we always enjoy those goofy modes, right? So, okay, that's good. Alright, so that's it for the major bits of news for this dev blog. So, I'm very excited for the Liberty Harbor event, or the U.S. Navy's 250th anniversary event, whatever you want to call it. I think it's great that the Lüshun B is returning, or where the Lüshun's returning as a Lüshun B in the Dockyard, and that we now know when Indiana is coming out, although they did nerf for reload here not too long ago. So yeah, looks like 14.9 is going to be pretty good. Some nice additional content on top of, you know, what we're already getting with the anniversary event kicking off next update. So yeah, good job Wargaming so far. Most of this seems very good. Again, I'm only a little bit reserved on Liberty Harbor because we don't know exactly what the missions are going to require. We don't know how, again, stacked the naval supply expeditions are going to be towards, you know, larger, higher tier fleets. So those are all still things that, you know, I'd like to see more information on, and I'm sure as we get closer to the event, Wargaming will, you know, put out their own articles and such for these modes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a wonderful Thursday and a wonderful rest of your week. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.